Welcome or welcome back to Cooking with Frenchy, cooking and baking made easy. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and I hope you had a really good time over Christmas and now you get ready for New Year. So in this Christmas series, what I'm going to try to teach you is what do you do with your leftover just after Christmas? So I'm going to show you how I make a very nice little quiche with all my leftover I find in the fridge. Not all, but specifically that's really smoked ham you have. So we are going to make a quiche of that. So let's get ready. Make sure you always subscribe, you share it to the world, share it to your friend and your family. You leave me some comments if you tried the recipe or not. I hope you really enjoy that as much I'm enjoying the view right now. So have a lovely day and I see you just after that. Is to show you how to make a beautiful short crust pastry for our quiche. So we're gonna make it by hand, no machine this time, just simple things. Already done a recipe of short crust pastry before, but I'm going to show you again just to make sure you get it. So check it out. All you need for the short crust pastry is some plain flour, a bit of salt, unsalted cube butter, and 1 egg. I use 65-gram eggs. So it's quite large. So what I do first, flour on the bench, put your 3 or 4 pinch of salt, about 2 or 3 grams. We're not going to put the eggs right now. We are going to put the butter. Make sure you dice the butter so that it's very cold and in small dice. And with the tip of your finger, we are going to break those little lumps of butter with the flour. You could do that in a bowl if you prefer. And we're going to try to bring it to what we call a sandy texture or breadcrumb texture. So it takes a few minutes. If you have a bowl mixer, you can do the same with a paddle. The only thing with a mixer, you can always overwork it a little bit. That's something we don't want. We don't want the pastry to get too overworked. It's short. Short, it's because there's not amount of liquid into it. Not large, so it has a short texture, like it breaks. So we keep like pushing down with the flour, so the flour is coating the butter. And that's what we're looking for. And try to add it. Please just your muscles and fingers, just in case you do massage. And 1 grams of butter, that's now you start to press down everything. So again, 20 grams of flour for 25 grams of half the amount of butter for flour. So here comes my sandy breadcrumb texture. Let's see how it goes in a minute, 6 degrees. So that's when it's very cold. Now, we combine everything, create a little well, and add the egg. Breaks the egg down. And we are going to mix together. And make sure that everything is well mixed and there's no lumps of butter. So we work it against the bench and we use the palm of the hand. Make sure we leave no lumps. So check it out, stretch, check it out, stretch, check it out, stretch again, Every time you check out for no lumps of butter, see the lump like this, push it down, stretch, 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 stretch. This looks like it's combined together quite well. You can rub your hand together. You can grab a little bit of flour to wrap your hand together. And let's combine it all. Not wasting anything. So we have a pastry that looks quite short, breakable. That's normal. That now we're going to put in the fridge to rest for a good 20 minutes. With a glad wrap. And voila. So let's see what I found in the fridge to make that quiche. The beauty of making a quiche like this for any time of the day, or the beauty of the quiche, it's really you can put any ingredients you want into it. Once you make it once, you can add anything you want. So you can keep it also in the fridge for a few days, but you can freeze it and do it as a meal prep. But you can also cut it in small square and having that as a little cocktail food for your New Year's Eve celebration. So be ready. So let's have a look what I've got. So in my fridge I find some leftover zucchini. We use the tail ends of some asparagus because I just use the nice head of it. Bit of shallot, red onion, some feta, and of course my leftover smoked ham and champagne ham. I can't eat it all in sandwich, so that's what we're going to use. First thing first, I'm going to cut my onions. Small little dice. It's here. Same for my shallots. Get your asparagus together. Little groups and small little pieces too. Same with my zucchini. This we create small pieces. We have a balanced quiche between vegetables and meat. Move that to the side. Let's get to the meat. Look at little piece. I'm doing that whilst my pastry is resting. Just a rough cut. I think for the size of my quiche that should be enough. I'm gonna have to find something else to do with that one. for my vegetable, what I'll be doing is to take a little fry pan, and I will add a little bit of butter inside it. When the butter is hot, I'm going to saute the vegetable very quickly just to give them a little flavor. So let's take it back. So let your butter. Let it sing. And add your vegetable. Give them a little bit of a shake. If you notice, I am not going to season the vegetable right now or the meat. The simple reason that the meat is very salty already, and I'm going to add a little bit of flavor here with the fresh thyme. Bit of a shake. I wish you could smell. This is just to let the vegetable sweat a little bit and to give the natural caramelization flavor. You just need to do that for 2 minutes at high heat. So important for you to do this rather than put your vegetable totally raw in the quiche. It releases too much moisture. It's not nice. You don't amplify the flavor, and that's a mistake I often see with chefs. They just chuck everything into the quiche, bake it. There's no flavor, no nothing, no development. It's a bit like a shortcut, half task, very sharp. So here you can see the caramelization of the onions, which is going to give us a nicer flavor. And that's enough. Alright, so my pastry rested for 20 minutes, half an hour. Still a bit soft, a bit crackling, it's normal. I'm going to use a rolling pin, a little bit of dusting flour, and a non-stick pan for it, which I can remove the bottom. You can use a normal round pan, it's up to you. So, a bit of flour. And should be just fine. Now the trick is to roll out the pastry onto your rolling pin. Place your tin close to it. So because it's a short pastry, you will see it breaks easily. That's alright, because we're going to fix all of that. One of the best pastry for this. So the excess like that. The quiche shouldn't have too much pastry on it, just enough to keep everything in. There you go. Voila. Then that needs to go back into the fridge to rest for another half an hour. 2 millimeters thin, it's so important. Now if you remember, I put my pastry in the fridge for about half an hour just to rest a little bit. I did some patchwork to it just because it happened that it's too dry. So that's my veggies, so I can put them all over. And don't forget center and corners, and my ham. Here we are. So make sure you really fill your quiche with your leftover ham. I said before, I have a little bit of leftover feta, so I can add for extra texture with feta here and there. Just crumble it. When this is done, crack 2 eggs. Don't need to clean the bowl. You can use the same bowl of the vegetable. About 200 ml of milk, a little bit of cracked pepper. I'm not going to put salt due to the ham and the cheese and the feta. Give it a quick mix. Meanwhile, I heat up my oven at about 200 degrees, preheated. Pour your egg mixture into the quiche. Add some cheddar grated cheese, just a little bit. And we're going to bake this for 15 minutes at 200 degrees and about 45 minutes at 150 degrees. Let's get this in the oven. Now we're going to reduce 150 for 45. Look at this little beauty. After 45 minutes at 150 degrees, we started with 15 minutes at 180, 200 degrees in fan force. Ready with your leftover for either New Year's or your lunch. It's a little beauty.